The show then is the Trini Werewolf.
Tell them all the stink and dirty, stink and dirty.
Oh my god.
I don't know how many people saw that. But yes. It's finally time. It is the Werewolf Hour, and I am here. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to my camera. If this is what you're seeing, this is what I see from my camera ever since I bought my laptop. I'm struggling in work meetings because I cannot join anything. Everyone's just like, "Oh, Trini Werewolf, where are you?" And I'm just like, "I'm right here. You can't see me, but just know I'm here." But yeah, that's the struggles. That's just life. Let me see who else is here. All your CCP people could just come in, jump in the YouTube chat. I'm gonna let me see if I could. Who is here? TC on Trini time. SMH. Shame. Shameful. Oh yeah. Where's mother stink Trinis? Where everybody at? Camera is cook at tree. Oh no. Oh dear. That is most painful. Boy. Yeah, cook is something else. Right. Oh, TC. Big up the only Jamaican I know who from Alabama or Alaska, whichever place it is. Fresh and clean. Skeptical. I need evidence for that. Yeah. Oh, my banner's not running. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I hope all you appreciate the effort I put into this. Took me half an hour to type out everything, and then the next 20 minutes after it didn't save when I was nearly done. Yeah, but big up to all you. Yeah, I realized that I'm just fed up of West Indies cricket. So I figured, you know what, I might as well use a stream to just vent all this anger and pain that I have. So yeah, there's just a lot going on. Most of it ain't fun, but yeah, let's see where we could start. Let me put in this invite thing and see if I want to jump on and bad talk anybody. Let's see who wants to jump on. Could I have a few things pulled up here for us to discuss? I just wait a little bit and then we could figure out which down bad topic to start off with first, because I have a few planned. I have quite a few, and by few I mean 4. We poor TC, no friends on the server. Disrespect to Celine, Jerry, GK. Disrespect to Jerry. That Guyana win. Ooh, yeah, that's a good place to start. I mean, let me believe I could pull it up here. This leads into a very, very good topic that I like to call Morelli's illegitimate sons. We have to do something about this. We cannot be having all these men running around just spinning down West Indies cricket. It is shameful. It is horrid. It is disgusting. It's just painful. Let me pull up these stats here. Imagine we've only had 2 matches, two whole matches, and the Frenchman himself, Carrie Pierre, has 21 wickets. 21. It's awful. I mean, just look at the rest of them. Carrie Pierre 21, Joshua Bishop 14, Cornwall 13, Permon 10, Ronaldo Ali Mohammed 9. I still have no idea who this man is. I just remember he just showed up in that Amazon Warrior squad, and I'm like, oh, this might be the all-rounder to replace Odin, and then man never played, so oh well. I guess I just go in with Shepard. But yeah, it's still awful. I mean, I'm struggling to watch these matches. The commentary is not fun. The batting's down bad. It's just all various stages of awful. Even in terms of runs, either the runs is an ex stink Trini, Mr. Mohammed, 279. I mean, okay, 2 matches, 4 innings, nearly 300 runs. It's very possible Jason Mohammed can end up with like maybe 500, 600 runs. But at that point, if no one else comes close, he might really warrant a call up. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because no matter how you look at it, if you don't pick him, then you're acknowledging that the whole tournament is pointless. I mean, if you're outscoring everybody and you don't get a call up, that was the point. But if you do call him up, you're calling up an 87-year-old man to play for West Indies. I mean, what kind of message is that sending? It's just all not good. Yeah. I'm honestly surprised at some of these matches. I mean, okay, Leeward's topping it. Leeward's and Guyana topping it that I expected. Guyana was incredibly down bad in that one game. Whew. I don't even know what happened to them. I mean, yes, they mashed up Barbados by 10 wickets. That was expected. But then the command, not only did they give CCC a lead, but then they came back and mashed up CCC in reply. So it made it look like it was a fluke. Had Guyana lost that game, it might have been one of the best results in 4-day championship, because then you could say that CCC might not just be 3 points, but no, they ended up being 3 points yet again. There's just so many levels are down bad. Let me see. Fireball watching Rainbow Six, big up himself. Cussing down men in Guyana. Whew, yes. Egg ball was being pelted left, right, and center. Let me see. Let me pull up some of these scores from this match. I mean, let's just go through some of this down battery. CCC, Johan Jeremiah, Kyle Corbin. Some of these men did good. I'm not that familiar with some of these names, but big up these men. But then the bowling. Okay, the website clearly is not working for West Indies because it says the only person who has a wicket is Shamar. Let me reload this and see. There we go. Yeah, big up the men. I will give Shamar a pass because he's coming back from injury, so going at 4 and over. Meh, but yeah, we'll allow him for this time. 3 wickets for him, 3 for Ali Mohammed, 3 for Permal. This one got mashed up. I'm tempted to keep an eye on this Ali Mohammed fella just because it's funny. That man was mashing him up with 3 wickets. Man was getting some runs. Yeah, I just tempted to keep an eye on him. But Guyana's reply. Whew, oh my goodness, I could smell it from over here. Tage, disgusting. Nando, slightly less disgusting. Everybody else, pain and suffering. And then you get Imlak and Ali Mohammed again with making runs. Big up to Imlak. Man finally got his chance. And but he did all right, but still. Like Marsh said, we have to hold him to the standard of making runs. If he's putting up numbers like this, if he's making like 126 for West Indies, he is secure. Man will never take off his whites ever again. Let me see here. Oh God, look who. Shepard, I don't know who you could be referring to. There's only so much of us here. And calling out these people. Just big them up. Big up all of you. So yeah. Yeah, I am struggling to watch some of these games. I mean, it's just pain and suffering. But we're actually big up to Imlak so far. Some of these men doing all right. I have to say. I mean, let me see if I can find these results page. This stats page doesn't even have anything. Big up CWI. Okay, here we go. Let me see here. Oh yeah, we talked about Carrie Pierre being morally illegitimate son, just bowling down men. He's our next man who, okay, if Carrie Pierre and Jason Mohammed do not play for West Indies in that Australia series, it means this championship doesn't matter. But if they do make it, then it means that he could just do anything and make it into the side. So yeah, that's just West Indies cricket. I mean, 8 for 27. I'm feeling sick. I might need more cheesecake. Yeah, Carey Pier 8 for 27. Redwood man 7 for 72. All these men getting 8 for 7 for 6 for. Yeah, it's just more pain. Sure, but Josh might be done. I am very concerned about Josh because I mean, I think a lot of it stems from. Let me look. I tried to relate it to him being in St. Kitts for CPL because in 2021 he was opening for a good few games, and then 2022 when the down bad era of St. Kitts started, I think he played 1 or 2 games and then disappeared. Then 2023, I think he played 1 game and got flung away, and then this year nothing, man, just riding bench. So Josh is literally playing cricket only for West Indies or whatever down bag league it has in Queen's Park Oval. But even so, that might literally just be it. I mean, that's not to say that. I don't want to say man is just outright bad, but he is on the decline slightly. But I think I don't want to phrase it as a good thing, but it is at least a plus that we have people challenging for certain spots. Because if last year you told me that Josh's spot will be challenged as the keeper in the side, I'll be shocked. I'll be bamboozled, bewildered. But at least now, Imlak's making a claim, Django's making a claim, all these other men. Some men are at least now doing good to the point that you could consider them. But even so, you're still beating up all these men in West Indies Championship. I mean, the level is not good. The ceiling that some of these players have could be the basement of other people in for international cricket. Yeah, well, I do hope we're wrong about Imlak, because I mean, I cannot pronounce that name. You there? You know who I'm talking about? Yes, thank you for the big up. I'm not even trying that. That's probably I don't know. Yeah, Sean had a good point. Let's see the numbers once the Kookaburra ball rounds are done with. I am curious how all of the day-night games will go. Just because I feel like that will help us at least in terms of it'll help us when we bat against Australia. But I think in terms of batting in different conditions, if men are struggling with a different ball, because I think I read on Crick Buzz or Cricket from one of them people that the stats suggest that the pink ball swings a little bit more or for a little longer. So it'll be interesting to see how some of these men deal with it. Because once the ball starts to do something, the diarrhea starts flowing. I mean, yeah, we're really down bad. But yeah, in terms of some of these matches, yeah, I feel like yeah, the day-night games I feel like will help. I feel like most of these men. I mean, the other struggle is sometimes these innings go on so short when men get in ball out that people just have the concentration to last for more than a 50-over game. Because let me see if I could even. Somebody don't even have the proper stats for it. Another how long the innings went. Yeah, 80 overs in that game. That's all right. But then you've seen some like, okay, you've seen some teams batting out like 100 over, which is good. And then the next team replies the next 80 overs like, oh, this could be competitive. And then nope, all out in 40 overs for 100. All out for 100 in the next 30 overs. Yeah. Looking at this table, it is interesting. For me, I do think, let me see. TC had mentioned it, who I think would win. Yeah, Brian Lara became a road. Brian Lara is, I don't even know what to say about it. I think they need to have test status just so they can have a consistency for it. Go back to those England games. We cannot, in no world, should there be a pitch where on a Tuesday, you could have a team score 250 something, and then on the Thursday they're all off 120. I mean, it's not possible. Yeah, they woke up with a fire under their backside. Some of these pitches are terrible. I mean, we are thankful that New York pitch wasn't done at a proper stadium somewhere, because I mean, it'll be empty every single day of the week. So yeah, we need to fix some of these pitches, just because. I mean, I am interested to wonder how much people find it very hard to bat in some of our pitches, and then when they go abroad for international, they're like, "Oh, this is so different." For all we know, they can't tell if it's a good pitch or not. Thank you, TC. Big up you. Big up the Jamaican. Yes, sir. Yes, young Badri the second himself right here. Queen's Park always consistent, but yeah. The time I've been to Queen's Park for CPL, it's been all right. Even though there's been some down bad games like Trinidad versus Barbados. That warm up game with Australia. I thought some of the World Cup game would be like that. We were like 280 something. I mean, thankfully none of that happened because it's just you can't even tell what's gonna happen. It's not entertaining to that point. But yeah. So yeah, long story short, Morley have some children running around in West Indies cricket, just spinning down men. I am betting a lot. If I could bet, I would bet Huh? No, you all still stink. Okay, let me see. Let me just time out this person. There you go. Take 5 minutes. Think about what you've done. This is the simple stuff in life that makes me laugh. So yeah, I guarantee you, I have a strong feeling. It would be funny if Caripia gets 50 wickets and he doesn't get picked for West Indies. He's more likely to get. Which one is he more likely to get? 50 wickets or a 10 for? Yeah, both of those are very possible. In terms of runs, okay, and the runs listing intrigues me more because they only have 5 people here, which is very strange because the rest have like 6 and 8, and I can't see all. But I like that we have Hamilton in third, so he could be a next potential person. There have a few people here, like if Josh makes it to get at a batter at like 5 or something, I am fine with that. Same with Greaves, because I think he has potential, but some people just have to work on it a little bit. Jay Drakes, Blackwood and Campbell for me are the 2 big ones for men who could fight up and make it back into the squad. So it'll be interesting to see. The 2 standouts for me that I'm looking for are someone who puts up on average, like say, if you average 40, I think that's like good enough to keep an eye on it. I don't know about making it into the squad, but I'm also curious to see who ends up with the highest strike rate. Because for our top 6, we have people striking at like around 30, 40, but the averages are still so low that no one's really going on to make a big score after someone else gets out. So I'm looking at some of those stat points to see. I don't know why I have most 6s here. You think most 4s would make more sense, but I just find it very funny that out of all these, forward is number 5. Then you have Odin, who's been forsaken. So I just move on from him. We have Campbell, Paris. I'm also interested on Paris. I think it would be very interesting to me if TKR retain him for CPL if they don't do a big draft, because I find it very, very stink that most teams. I feel like at some point you should have to retain. Yeah, I feel like what they should do is you have to retain one of the emerging players for the following year, and then you're free to let them go or not. At least that'll help, because it makes no sense that you pick this person to help them grow as a player, then they don't play any games, and then they're not picked up by anybody else the following year. I feel like small things like that could probably help. I am Cooper making a run, so Tion Webster and Utley have an early retirement. Oh, thank you. I would hope so. Yeah. There's a few players here who feel like probably shouldn't be in the squad or like playing cricket this much, as well as not only just mashing up everybody, but yeah. I want to hope to see at least maybe, it doesn't matter whether it's most runs, most wickets, best individual scores, some of these don't matter. I just want to see some new name either in the top 10 or at least closer. So yeah. I wonder if strike rate should be considered in lower quality first class cricket if you're getting 3 to 4 bad balls and over. Yeah, that's true. I think it was Sean who put up that coefficient about how much runs CCC is worth. But it is interesting. I mean, like, Yeah, that's probably true. It's hard to consider strike rate because look at Craig. Craig was striking around 80 something in one of these games, and then he's striking like just above 30 in international cricket. Yeah, some ways we can't really judge for sure, but there's a few things to consider. Because it's hard to. There's no strict conversion rate between potential for West Indies cricket and proving it at the international level. We'll have to see. Cooper Connolly shot to get on that Australia game. I have not seen some of these games. I just remember seeing Sri Lanka was quite down bad. Yeah. I have a thing about international cricket coming up later, so I'll move on to that too. Yeah. Yeah, big up to Sean. If you're striking below 40 in international cricket, in first class cricket, calling out Tej and Nandu indirectly, but yeah, if you cannot beat up on some of these people, I mean, if you're getting out to all these spin men, that I can understand because we're just that down bad. But if even when if you're not able to stand out at some point, then what's the point? Because you're just producing a group of men who are just bad. So yeah, there has to be a certain standard, but it's just a matter of knowing how that standard would convert to international cricket. So yeah, I am curious to see what will happen for Australia and also that A tour against South Africa. I do feel like I think if they might have to pick most of those men who went on that developmental tour, but if not, then yeah, that's true. Tandu, Tandu and Greg to open for West Indies in 2020, 2030. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, they could pick like maybe a few men just to be in the squad, just to watch and learn. But yeah, Nandu probably shouldn't be anywhere near West Indies jersey until he's at least 25. Yeah, at least then he could still be striking at 20, but he'll at least have more experience behind him. Or maybe then he'll be striking at maybe 40 or 50. We'll only hope. And that's hope Tej hasn't been forsaken by then. So yeah. Just as the 12th. Barbados and Jamaica. I have a feeling Jamaica could do something there. Leeward and Red Force. That sounds like a good one. I have a feeling that it might just be Red Force. I mean, yeah, I'm skipping the third game. I'll come back to that after. Guyana, West Indies, Windwards versus CC. Just put a black screen. Just don't ignore it. What's going on with audio? I don't know. I'm just here sitting on my desk, just talking. I think I accidentally reclined from the chair too much. Let me know if that sounds better. So yeah, I've got to talk about this. I am very disappointed by Windwards. I feel like going back to the point Marshall brought about Alec not needing to play because he scored a 50 and he had nothing to prove. The way Marsh talked about the Blackwood metric, I'm thinking about something called the Kirk coefficient, where if you have a good run in international cricket, or like how Alec did pretty good in that one Pakistan innings, but then you come back to international cricket and you're just down bad, stink, smelling up the pitch, then what says that you warrant being picked to play against Australia? Because I mean, this is when you should become you prove yourself in an innings. You should then be coming back home and at least beating up on all these men. I mean, it doesn't say much if you're hitting Jason Mohammed for runs, but still, or carry pair. But yeah, it will be interesting to see who else makes it. Let me see. Let me see if I can put a poll in here. Let's see who you think playing against Australia. Yeah, there's a good few options. Let's go with you. Let me see who's the next man I could put here. Okay, you. Yes. Also you, just in case. And then finally, Okay, let's see how this goes. I do think at least one of the top two might get a chance, just because. And then, but yeah, I think it most likely will end up being Caripay and Jason Mohammed, just to prove that international that 4-day championship is worth something. So yeah, okay, let's move on to something else. What to do with West Indies? I didn't want to bring up. I didn't want to bring it up just after the Pakistan win because I didn't want to sound as negative. But who here thinks that, despite us having so much of these big wins, that this may be our worst performance in the World Test Championship? Because I was really sitting down, being down bad about West Indies cricket, and just reading through everything. And what I found very concerning was that when I'm looking at it, yeah, how best do I say this? I mean, it's just that ping. No, don't really need that. So yeah, if I put up the table, it'll be easier to explain. So when you look at this, what's that? What's seventh? But not was it seventh? I can't even remember. It's been so long. The eighth. Yeah, we're eighth in the table. Pakistan will claim the down bad championship, but we're still eighth. We have finished eighth in every World Test Championship cycle so far. But even so, we at least had some series wins. I think in the first one we had I think two. Did we even have two series wins? Can't even tell. Allow me, people. Yeah, one series win, and then that 2019 to 2021, 21 to 23, we had four wins. And I think we had the series win against England and against Bangladesh. So that's two series wins. So even though we came eighth in the last cycle, you could objectively say that might be our best performance. But then you come to this cycle, and it's giving me some mixed feelings. Because yes, we have three wins. We haven't passed our win total, but on one hand, you could say that this is our worst performance because we did not win any series. The other half of this is looking at some of those wins and draws. A draw against India, even if rain played a part in it, you would never expect us to draw against India. Or win against Australia. God looked down upon us and said, you know what, take win. I'll give you a bly. And then just L against England. Draw against South Africa. Big up to TC Lord and Savior Jason Holder for helping us not lose that. But yeah, still, they won the next game, so no series win. Bangladesh, we won the first game, we mashed them up, and then they returned the favor. No series win. Pakistan was looking like the most guaranteed Series L, but we ended up with a draw. So even to that point, while you could say we won two series, we won two matches we were expected to lose wholeheartedly, and we ended up winning them. But still, no series wins, still eight. How do you feel? Would you say that this is our worst performance so far? Because to me, I'm inclined to say yes, but I'm just considering the wins that we've had. So I feel like it might not be as bad as it looks. Well, yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, it is true. I mean, even looking at it, it's sorry. It's also crazy to say that we couldn't win against the bottom team at that point in time, Bangladesh, but then we also couldn't win us. Oh yeah, given that how Pakistan were doing, it would have been. Yes, it would have also looked bad for us to not win against last place. But still, it was probably the most challenging one. So yes, that win is probably worth a lot. But still, yeah, there's still a lot of things to consider. Espanyol beat Real Madrid, and they are still almost like they're yeah. Okay, the other next thing I'm going to consider: how best to do this promotion and relegation. We are awful. That is facts. Okay. Can I share my screen in this? Let me see if I could. Let me see. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So, South Africa, Australia, that's the final. South Africa, again in our next final. I don't want to say anything, but I'm just going to keep an eye on this. Then we just scroll all the way down to us. Looking at how. Oh, yeah, that's another thing I didn't mention. In terms of points, we also got the least. So, even objectively speaking, in terms of points, if it was points and not points percentage, we'll still be last. But given how much more matches everyone played, you have to have the point system in the points percentage. But yeah, going back to relegation and promotion, I don't even know how to divide it up. I think an interesting thing would be is if they have two groups of six, where it's the top six from the previous year, the bottom teams from that year, and then three others associate sides to get test status. And what I would do is, if you make the other option, I can say was a cutoff in terms of points percentage, but even still, you might end up with a lot of teams rather not making it. Because it'll be hilarious. It'll be incredible to see England in a tier 2 with down bad teams like West Indies and Bangladesh. Yeah, but you really could train a Scotland, big up Osprey, train an Afghanistan, a next team, a Netherlands, maybe. Yeah, there's always that option to just mix some of these groups. You'll be getting varying levels of cricket, and I think more importantly, you'll get some teams being able to pull off wins. Because, I mean, yes, Pakistan were able to pull off that against England, but they had like them stink pitches. But like my said, men don't win no matches, cause men don't win no matches. Yeah, I don't want to see us start winning some stuff. So I think bare minimum, if you're relegated, what they could do is have us or relegated teams play A teams from other teams like more often. So well, I guess they're kind of already doing that, but I guess I get into the warm up. No, I feel like that'd be too disrespectful to say. Oh, South Africa needs a warm up team for a series. Just call up down bad West Indies. But yeah, I mean, that's theory. But yeah, the other thing to consider is in terms of ODI rankings, we're at least getting better. I don't even know if this has that. Let me see. Rankings. Yes, here we go. ODI, I have to scroll on to find us. 10 to. We are getting slightly better in ODIs. And I think in terms of men, let me see, check it out. In a perfect world, everyone plays the same amount of games, same amount of home. Yeah, what that does make sense. What I think what the other thing they could do is make all them historical series like Ashes, Border Gavaskar Trophy. All of those could be separate to World Test Championship because those have their importance, but you don't have to count it. Equal number of games is so hard as a series between the big three with so much money. Yeah, at that point they could market it as something else and just have like a big tree series, like a big tri series at some point. But yeah, another way to consider. Another thing they should do is, I'm just hoping, Jay Shah, if you're looking in here somewhere, try and get an India-Pakistan, even a one-off match in a neutral venue somewhere. Just carry these men to Sharjah or somewhere. You could probably use that MI Stadium in New York that they're building. Just something. Yeah, Pakistan won't play India, England, Australia won't play Afghanistan. It would be, yeah, it would be kind of crazy if you're giving some of these smaller teams the opportunity to play some of these big teams, and they're just like, nah, we don't want to play them. Other protests, then so be it. If in the Champions Trophy, I don't even know who's going to captain Australia. Now that Pat Cummins is broken. Probably Steve Smith. If Steve Smith walks out to the toss and says, "Nah, we're not playing," then so be it. Then just give these men a 0, give Afghanistan the points, and if Afghanistan qualify, then yeah, that's what happened. That's their choice. England would be against it being outside World Championship. They're protested against some matches not counted. Ooh, from Mr. Kimball. Yeah, I just started watching some of his videos after hearing Marsh talk about it. The one he had talked about the betting in Bangladesh. It's quite interesting going back to the stats because not very often you consider wise, you just consider it being just bad bowling. But the times of it occurring is it's quite interesting. Yeah. So yeah, go back to West Indies. In terms of ODIs, we are getting slightly better. It does help that we have Kati showing improvement in on that front with his strike rate on average. So I'm hoping to see more from him. I'm also concerned about Alec because while he started off with ODIs, he's fallen off badly. Because I mean, it's funny to it's not funny. It's sad to say that we've invested in two youth men for ODIs, and only now one of them is starting to do better, and it's only upping his strike rate. But the other person played as many matches. I think Alec played as many matches as Kati, and while Kati made like so much runs, 500 or something runs, Alec only made like 60. So yeah, I'm also worried about Alec. He's been accused of some duncery, but I still have some hope in him. Yeah, hope is just hope and prayers. Rutherford is also. I'm just so impressed by Rutherford because I mean, big up to him. It does show that he's gotten more serious about West Indies cricket. Yeah, Kati is class now that he's upping his strike rate because it is given how the teams were beforehand. When we were in our truly down bad period, Kati would only be contributing to it because you would have men averaging 10 and striking at 30, like Tage, a bunch of Tages running around in 50 overs, just stinking it up. And then you have a next man coming in to not really do much. We now have things where it's set up so that we're getting some platforms and being able to do better. So yeah, I do expect to see some improvements from the ODI side. And speaking of the ODI side, I was thinking about this as well the other day. I was going back and I had fallen asleep. Story time. I had fallen asleep someday it was, and I woke up to the sound of my own voice. I was wondering what on earth is going on, and then I checked with my TV. I fell asleep watching a YouTube video, and the autoplay had taken me to one of Mash's live shows, and I woke up at the exact time that I was on the call-in show. But then when I was scrolling to see what other videos were playing, it was the one about Good Job Desi, and listening back to it, it would be very interesting. No, it's interesting to consider that once he stopped being a selector, we got Rutherford coming back into both sides, I guess. Witchcraft on Obia, yes indeed. Voodoo. Ooh. Yeah, let me light some incense. Jai Shri Ram. Yes. Ward off them spirits. But yeah, Rutherford's back in both sides now, performing well. Hetmeyer's back in quotation marks. He's a story for next day, but Russell is back. Evan Lewis is back. If Sammy manages to convince Darren Bravo to come back in some shape or form, even if he's in the squad, or at some point, if he called up man like, oh, after your post about spin, come give some motivational TED talks to the team. If he's involved in some way, if I was CWI, I would launch a serious investigation into Desmond Haynes as to how so many people who they have written off and not spoken to about playing for West Indies cricket suddenly made themselves available and started coming back once the man left. I would be pulling up on his house, making him stand on business, giving him lie detector tests, urine tests, any sort of tests to say that something was suspect, that he may have been holding prejudices to some of these players. Hetty only traveling to the team for free food. If that's the case, O'Shane has been secretly traveling with the West Indies team for however many years. Yeah, big up O'Shane, no pun intended. Yeah, after seeing that fielding effort, you can't get away with that, big fella. Jokes. Yep, so much jokes. That's what it is with West Indies cricket. Okay, we talked about that. Morelli's children. And then we have SA20. I was talking about it in the Discord. And out of all these, yes, Ocean Thomas. Yeah, yeah. I was looking at all these, going through all these down bad leagues. We had Big Bash, Bangladesh Premier League, in ILT 20, and then SA 20. And out of all of them, I think SA 20 was probably might have been the best one out of it. And I think it's solely because they had a lot of the teams invested in emerging players or talent. Because looking at these stats, or even people who aren't really given a chance in most forms of cricket, because just looking at this batting, you have youth man, 18-year-old Luandre Pretorius making the most runs. Incredible. And he was opening. If he was a West Indian, he'll be batting at 8. So yeah, big up to him. I do find it very weird that SA20 final was down bad. Sunrisers was just stink in and out. Yeah, that I had it as somewhat that. Let's talk about King. I'll talk about King afterwards. He's our next pointer. But yeah, they did a lot of the teams. They were also down bad. I mean, they had their own level of St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots because they had Pretoria Capitals and Durban Supergiants just really stinking it up, fouling up South Africa's atmosphere. But yeah, a lot of the other teams they did pretty good. I was impressed by a lot of these players. I'm also ashamed that, well, big up Luandre, then you have a bunch of youth men. Rickleton, not really a youth, but he's followed up 2 good seasons, so he really should be playing in South Africa more, flinging away Quinton. You got Ruben Herman, Brevis. Brevis was Bavuma's understudy for so long because he would just be mashing up South Africa domestic cricket and then just stinking it up he stunk it up in IPL, had like I think 1 good game in MLC. So he's finally had a good season here. He's also I think 21 or 22. He's a lot younger than I expected, so he's at least the next one who's coming good. But then in no other T20 league would you expect to see Joe Root being the 8th highest run scorer. Averaging 50, striking 140. I mean, it's incredible. 3 50s. Yeah, big up to Root. Big up to the man. Celine. Whew. Celine. TC's been saying a whole lot of things about you. Yeah, but that's besides the point. Yeah. King was most foul, most horrendous. But I don't think all of that was up to him. I think the team he was in was just so awful that they couldn't really put together a composed playing 11 because you had people coming in and out every other game. I think King played 1 game, did bad, and then sat out for the next 8 games, came back, stunk it up, went back out, came back in a little while after. Yeah, a lot of these franchise teams, the players they're going for, don't talk down on my King. Yeah, Charles is a... I'll talk about Charles after with some other leagues. I'll talk about ILT 20 after because I'll saving the worst one for last. But yeah, the King's been in and out. He's done all right in a few instances, but I would like to see King a bit more often because I find it is kind of sad that one of our probably better openers isn't really getting much franchise deals. I mean, he did all right in BPL I think last year, but here it was just bad. King is based Celine. I thought it was Hope. I don't know which King Celine have, but I don't think I can talk about it without this stream getting taken down. Oh, that's a talk for the Discord only. Yeah. Oh, message redacted. Stand on business, TC. Stand on business. Ben Stokes. I'm taking note of that. Let me put that in my blackmail folder for TC. Is that storage full? I'll have to empty out some of that later. Or make a next folder. But yeah. What I saying? Yeah. King down bad, but I would hope to see him get more chances. Because that team, the Urban Super Giants was so stink that no one came good. The best performing person in that team was Noor Ahmed. So you let in a 10-year-old leggy outshine everybody, and then you have 80-year-old Maharaj spinning down men and contributing with runs when no one else was. I mean, they had Kane Williamson performing, So that's at least good to see. But still, yeah, King needs some praise, and I would like to see more from him. But yeah, SA20 was also very weird. I mean, while it did perform well, I would say in terms of how certain teams did, you at least had more competition, but every team had its own major flaw holding it back. Because when I look at all the teams, Durban Super Giants, no one came good. Klassen was down bad. Quinton was down bad. Bretsky was awful. No one else came good except I think Maharaj and Noor. Joburg Super Kings, they had a set of reject men like Moen Ali and Bairstow and just stunk it up. Nearly half the team was on the verge of collecting pension. And my Cape Town were probably the only good team. Well, I won't say only good team, even though they won, but they were one of the few teams who had like a very composed batting order. So it makes sense they won. Pal Royals were also pretty good, but they batted so short that you had, I think, 120-year-old Dinesh Karthik coming in at 6 in some games. So, yeah, they batted very short. That's an issue I've seen with many of the South Africa teams. I mean, not South Africa teams, many of the Royals teams. So I feel like it's some issue they have in that dressing room, where some agenda they have where it's always at least 6 batters and 5 bowlers, and occasionally one person who could bowl 1 over. And then Pretoria Capitals also quite stink. Sunrisers, I was hoping they would pull off that three-peat and get it, but nah. Whoa! Quinton, QDK, etc., etc. Whoa! In February? No, sir. We will not be tolerating that. People be advocating for King a lot. I just don't see it. I think it's more so that it's like Hope. Hope is now starting to do good, and he's getting acknowledged and getting all these franchise deals. And I feel like people just want the equivalent for King, just to show that he is good. But I mean, if he's not playing, it does mean that he's doing well for us. But it's just like an international metric to say that, oh, you're doing good for West Indies. You're worth playing for us. So if Rutherford, King, Hope don't play ODI, they can still walk into Test squad. I do think that's the next one. I should have put him in the pool. King might also have a chance, at least being in the squad. Sammy might as well just pick the people who play and call up a set of extra men to just be around the squad. Because I think it was Drake's. I think Dominic Drake's. I think it was that India tour where he, out of his own volition, chose to travel with the squad because he wanted to do some training. So there's definitely players who want to do that. That's also nice, but yeah. Long story short, SA20 did alright. Big up to Mumbai, Cape Town, one of the 20 Mumbai teams to come and do good. Celine distracting you. For shame. Stink. Stink all around. Oh my goodness, it's been 53 minutes. Wow. Okay, the last thing about... let me see. What if Sammy's considering wipeout player? They should be preparing in advance? No. I mean, yes, but seeing as so many people randomly got picked for all these franchise deals, a lot of it kind of interfered with it. He could very well pick some players to be on that South Africa A2 and just tell them, just go and watch, go and play, go and learn, and then pick some. So Sammy might very well be able to do that. But if not, yeah, I feel like at most he might start with getting people into the squad and then give them a chance. So yeah. The last thing about the SA20 was that algorithm thing that had to pick player of the match and all these fancy awards. Get rid of it. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was awful. 120% of the time, all they would do to pick player of the match was pick the person who scored either the first or second most runs, or whoever conceded the least amount of runs. I mean, you can't tell me at least half of the matches, the player of the match was awarded, in quotation marks, to someone from the losing side. And nearly every time, even the players would big it up and say, I don't know why I'm winning this. I didn't do nothing. I don't know why I'm getting player of the match for bowling my 4 overs for, I think, 25 runs, when you have a man who scored 80 from 50 or a man who got a 4-4. Yeah, just fling that away. You're not acknowledging the underrated performances of the game. All you're doing is accounting for one that cannot be considered bad. But yeah, that was the only stink thing about SA20. But yeah, it's probably one of the better leagues, which now takes me to the bottom of the barrel. Whew. All them other betting leagues. Whew. Yeah, I mean, I would include Big Bash in here. I mean, big up to I think it was Hobart Hurricanes for winning their maiden season. They at least had some youth men doing good. Osprey. SA20 had more players aged 35 than it had players under 24. Yeah, I mentioned that. I didn't really expand on that, but thank you for bringing that back up. I think most of that was Joburg Super Kings because they had Faf, they had Conway, they had Bairstow, they had Moen Ali, they had some others retired South Africa people who I think were 34, 35. But they at least had the caveat of all the players under 24 or like just around so doing pretty well. Wait, that reminds me. You're activating my brain. The gears in my head are turning. Let me see if I can find this. I'm supposed to bring this up. Okay. SA20 had instead of emerging players, they had rookie players. And I think out of all of them, let me see if I can find it. I'm pretty sure I had it pulled up somewhere. Did I screenshot it? No, I might have had it saved, I think, on some social media. Give me a minute, good people. Yeah. At first I thought it was emerging player, but then it was rookie draft. Yeah. They're the rookie players. Out of these 6 players, CJ King, JP King, Tristan Luce, Dewan Marius, Keegan Lyon Chattet, and then Daniel Smith. I don't think any of them played any games. I think both Kings ended up playing one game each. But I think Keegan played one game for Pretoria, but yeah. You've had 6 emerging players or rookie players, and I think only 2 or 3 of them got a game. So that's CPL heritage right there. I mean, it was even back in the first season of SA20. In the draft, they had a dedicated section to pick emerging players, and no teams bid. The auctioneer had to cuss them out and quarrel with them. But like, we have this section for you. Why are you not picking it? So they brought back this section specifically to do that, and then some people got picked. So yeah, that was very upsetting. But yeah, they at least had other emerging players do well. I do think that even though Luandre got battered the tournament, I'm against Brevis getting Rising Star the tournament when he's been there for 3 seasons and has been awful in the last 2. But even though he did good this time, I would acknowledge it. But it makes more sense to have the Rising Star the tournament be an 18-year-old who made the most runs in the whole tournament than a 20-year-old who finally did good. But that's just me. My goodness, we're coming up on an hour. Okay, last point. All them betting leagues. So we have BPL, and I want to throw in ILT20 in there. BPL is just also the problems. I won't go into it. So much of it is obvious, but if you can't afford to pay your players and you're locking up their stuff in a bus, if I was an ICC man, I would just pull up there, shut all of it down, and just throw all of it away. I mean, nothing there was sustainable. The rookie rule is good, but I need to have more rookies. Yes, just one per team is kind of tough. I would make it so that you could pick between 1 and 3, just because so much of the players are starting to be phased out, like Quinton, like Faf. 19 players under 24, not enough to sustain one franchise. Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I think it says. Yeah, I don't think they have a requirement for them playing, just rookie players. So yeah, they've probably mandated, I guess. Osprey, you could double check it for me and let me know in the Discord. But yeah, they're one of the few that have that acknowledgement instead of dedicated for rookie players. But yeah, they probably should have got the games because players under 24 did good, but I think if you're dedicating to pick rookie players, they should also be getting some games. But yeah, so yeah, BPL just down bad. I feel like Kimber will have to look into that final because it was very, very suspicious. Because I looked at it on YouTube. That'll tell you how down bad BPL is. That they just have men streaming all the matches on YouTube. That in the final, you mean to tell me that someone nudges the ball to, I think, third man or short cover, and they sneak in a quick single. The bowler drops the ball right in front of the wicket. They sneak in a two. He turns around to throw the ball, misses the wicket. Instead of aiming, he aimed for like a 10th wicket line when he tried to run them out and flung the ball all the way over and it's stuck in a third runner. Yeah. And then you had a whole sort of random drop catches. Like you're seeing them settling in and then the ball gets nowhere near them. Some very poor fielding. Like Kimber was pointing out, some of it is very, very suspect. So yeah, I don't see BPL lasting next year after all this money stuff. Just scrap it. They have their own issues. Bangladesh just have all their issues. So yeah, just let them play cricket somewhere else. let them just play domestic cricket for like a year, fix up all them dusty surfaces, and try and come back with something good. Yes, Osprey. Yes, sir. Yes, big up Osprey. Get rid of Abu Dhabi T10. Whew. Then BPL and LPL. Yeah. Merging a 116 betting league. Yeah, that would be cool. Well, not I don't say cool, but yeah, just mixes some of these Asian teams together, kind of like a Asian Super League. They just pick a set of teams per year, and just have a whole set of them fight out, and then the next year, the top two teams stay, and then pick a next set of teams, like a random draft. Yeah, that could be cool. But yeah, BPL had their own issues. The T10 is our next story. I'll probably say that for next week. I'll have to gather my notes. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, on ILT20, I am that league is just too down bad for me to watch. I've seen glimpses here and there just to see TC, Lord and Savior, Moti, and Jason Holder play. I mean, big up to Holder for Holder's funny. He went the entire season, I think 9 or 10 innings, striking at 180, averaging I think 30 something, and got 17 wickets. So yeah, big up to him. Celine, final question. There's only a Tri-Nation Series going on Premier Championship Trophy. Yeah, I think who did Pakistan, New Zealand, South Africa, or yeah, I think it's those three. Yeah, Pakistan. Yeah, big up New Zealand, big up Glenn Phillips. Oh yeah, I think there's only Tri-Series going on. They should have more of those, but that's a topic for next day. Yeah, ILT20 has so much stuff wrong about it that I think, yeah, in terms of betting, I think so much of it is just blatant corruption and being wrong. The first thing for me is how you could tell me that the week before final that you delay it to directly from the article from what they say here on Cricinfo to build hype and promote the final when you know very well and good it was solely because most of the players had to go play in the West Indies Australia series. That's the only reason they did it. If they had come out and said that, okay, we have a lot of players, including captains, who'll be unavailable. We think it would be unfair to the teams to play missing players like that. Let us delay it for 1 week, as opposed to saying build hype. Nah, allow it. Speak the truth. And then you have... sorry. Need some water after this. I've been yapping for an hour. Yeah, true CCP heritage. I was keeping it a short one. But yeah, I don't want to call out team people names, but the first instance to me is why do you have a team like, oh, hello TC, welcome back. Yeah, I might go for like a next maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Or in CCP time, that's probably an hour, but yeah. How can you tell me that you have a professional, in quotation marks, league where the day before the league starts, a player is traded to a team and there's no mention of it whatsoever? Like, no one announces it. Like, up to this day, Abu Dhabi Nigeria, they still have Allah Ghazanfar on their wallpaper as a player for them. It's awful. If Mumbai didn't post a random thing saying welcome home or big up his name in gold for something, no one would have any idea that someone who was drafted by a team showed up in our next team the day after. Yeah, it's disgusting. And up until this day, I still don't know who he was traded for. Because Knight Riders played the exact same team. They had no listings. Some even have some have Rutherford listed for Mumbai Emirates. But I think that's a typo. I think they meant to say Romario Shepherd. But yeah, if he showed up in them without anyone from either team, then it would be more then it would be more suspicious. But it's just him. I don't want to say it's just one person, but still, that's something I feel like should be heavily questioned. An Asia T20 team, yeah, some of that would be cool. Yeah, that's how for next day. I feel like we could write down some of these ideas. Pick up to Osprey. Let me write down some of these and save it for next week. Yeah. So yeah, back to that. Back to ILT20. I think, well, I want to say, I very strongly believe it was just a breeding ground for Mumbai Indians to test some of their players. Because they picked Gazanfa, and he just magically showed up in that team, which is the next thing. I think it shows that some of these teams, because they have so many players who are friends with owners, that they're abusing their relationship. Because I find it is very possible that Bravo and Pollard use their relationship with Venki Mysore to have Gazanfa sneak under the table and show up in our next team camp. But then you have, okay, I don't want to accuse anything because for all we know, it could be real. It said Pollard left due to personal reasons. And I think Puran made it sound like it was a family emergency. Like I said, he hopes everything's well with him and will dedicate this match to him. But then his replacement is another Mumbai player, Bevan Jacobs from New Zealand. So that's also very suspicious that the day they depending on what happened with Pollard, they will probably call up him one time and had him come there. Because you have players showing up the day after one league finishes and then showing up the day after for our next league. So he's our next Mumbai man who made it into the squad. And then the day Will Jack gets eliminated from SA20, he shows up in ILT20 for Mumbai Emirates. But the wording of it makes it very suspect. You could have very easily said that, so and so it will be absent from our squad. Will Jacks will be coming in as a replacement player for the rest of the season. But what they said was, we are announcing our wild card pick of Will Jacks for the rest of the season. When did wildcard picks come into play? Where was this? No one was aware of this. You mean to tell me you have a secret wildcard picks for just a BS way to call people into the squad? Nah, man. And then Desert Vipers brought in Gurbaz the next day too. But no other teams had wildcard picks? Very, very suspect. Yeah, Osprey coming through with good points. CPL abusing salary caps. Yeah, I mean CPL. I think co-pilot on Bing is telling me some players have caps, but it's no league should have Pollard, Narayan, Bravo, Puran, Tim David, like all these players when there's no bid and they could just be putting up money. Like for all we know, Pollard slid $1 million under the table to get Tim David, who, as far as I know, under I think most league rules should not have left St. Lucia Kings, because one, if St. Lucia Kings announced him as a retained player and then marked him as unavailable for this season because he was playing for Australia, that it would mean that one, he was removed from the draft, meaning that TKR was allowed to pick someone whose name was withdrawn from the draft, or two, that a team who someone played for did not have first priority in calling them back once they became available. But yeah, some of these teams have it's not budgeting, it's just very, very suspect. Especially when you have teams who most of the Mumbai teams, I think they have way more players than some. Some teams have 18 or 19 players, but then you have all these teams with 22, 23 players, knowing very well that some of them are worth way more than others. Yeah, quite a lot of issues. But yeah, ILT20 had just been so suspect. I just have a whole lot of issues. And even I would say big up, I think, is Ganga, Simon Dolan Bish in a few games for calling out very certain things like, oh, you have someone bowling 2 overs for 9 runs. Why are they not bowling out? Why do you have why is only one spinner playing? They also called out a lot of teams not playing the UAE players, so big up to them for that. I think Haider Ali was one of the UAE players, and he played, I think, 4 games before he got to bowl. So yeah, more CPL heritage, emerging players or local players being relegated to fielders. Yeah, they were at least calling out when teams would do very, very dunce bowling changes. Like that game where Puran was, I think, 8 from 20, and then he made it to 50 from 30. In no real league would someone ever be able to get away with that. And then Puran came and said that he was going through the gears and building an innings. You don't build an innings when you're 8 from 20. Nah. Yeah. That final's tomorrow. I might watch it just to watch, just to big up Hope. Yeah. I'll credit to Hope for at least getting the recognition as opener. I mean, we're not just opener to play in some of these leagues. 'Cause yes, he's doing well. Let me see. Look at even the top leaderboard is disgusting. Let me see. I can't even sort through it. I have to reload the page to get to a different player. Let me see. Do you even have a stats thing here? Let me see. Stats. Yeah. Hopper second. He did pretty well, averaging 60, striking 125, which is meh. When you have people striking at 50, 150 and averaging 50 as well. But yeah, Johnson Charles at 6. Big up to him. Average striking at 170, but averaging under 30. Johnson Charles that we know and love. I hope he won't open for West Indies and Test or play something. Even Puran was down bad in most games, but he was averaging 30 and striking 160. Yeah, it just goes to show that some of these men could be bigged up in all these leagues, but when it comes to West Indies, you're not doing anything. But yeah, LT20 were just very, very down bad in terms of majority of things. The only good thing it had was a few players being given a run to I want to say excel, but given a chance to perform in a position that they don't normally do. So yeah, and similar to SA20, they had that regard. Yeah, and I made 14 million profit last year, but I haven't paid any overseas board a dime for hiring those players develop. Yeah, there's a whole set of these issues where people just not getting money, or certain teams are abusing their relationships with others to kind of get what they want for a league, but the players aren't really getting the reward for it. Yeah, it's been an hour and 12 minutes. Yeah, just 5 more minutes. The last thing I'll say this. I'll continue this in the next week, but a lot of this bounces off of all these down bad leagues into what's happening now, where a lot of the IPL teams are buying stocks into the 100. I think it speaks volumes of how down bad CPL is. That a team that's 50% IPL owned has had no investment or recognition from any of them, and they've moved on to playing a 100 ball league. Yeah, that just speaks volumes about where CPL is. But it does show that if so much of these teams have the same owners, this means we might, in theory, have 7 different Mumbai Indians teams. And how would they adjust their contracts to say that, if, for example, Northern Superchargers retain Puran, they might come and say, you're owned by the Sunrisers group, therefore you cannot retain him and he must play for our next Mumbai team. So they could abuse things like that, but then also hinders developing players. Like, say, Northern Superchargers had 2 random English youth men who were doing good. They're like, I got picked by this team. I finally have a chance to come in and do good. And then they get bought out, and then they bring in Puran, Bolt, Pollard, Bravo, Spiceman, all these other men to take this spot. Like, I won't get that chance anymore. So there's that next issue. And it's been happening for a while. Like, I mean, it was the same thing with Odin, where a lot of the leagues Odin was picked up in just so conveniently happened to have Pollard in them. And the same thing happening with Akil. In 100, PSL, what's the next one? ILT20, I can't recount CPL, but yeah, there's at least 3 leagues where the only teams that have picked Akil also had Pollard. I think some also had Phil Simmons. And the only reason I know Phil Simmons was coaching that team was because they were doing the mid-inning speech And they found it very fun. And the commentators were wondering where the coach is because they saw Pollard speaking, and Phil Simmons was sound asleep in the dugout. It looked like man was sleeping. He was catching some Z's. But yeah. And so there's that next issue where because they're able to pull in so many players willy-nilly, how many local players are being given a chance? Okay, last thing, I need to drink some water and eat some dinner. Thank you all for coming out. This has been the inaugural Werewolf Hour. I'll try and do these more often, like maybe once a week. Or I'll just pick a day. It could be like Trini Tuesdays or Trini Thursdays on a Tuesday. But yeah, I'll just busy this week, so I have to do it on a Saturday. So it's Stink Trini Saturdays. Yeah. St. Kitts owner needs to go. Man should be nowhere near a cricket franchise. Yes. Preach Osprey. Yeah. That's the last point I'll say. This problem, the issue with St. Kitts, I think, run very deep. They have as much corruption and betting, or like might even better, be as much corruption as entire leagues on their own. They just, I mean, no professional league would you have an owner call up a man and quarrel with him for scoring a duck and not winning the game. I mean, that's awful. For shame on that man. For shame. That man needs to wake up with wet socks every single morning. His nose needs to itch every minute. Both feet fall asleep. Someone needs to give him a doubles and then cause a traffic jam. Shameful. But yeah, that has been the inaugural episode of the Werewolf Hour. Thank you all for coming out. I shall post in the Discord when next I can do this. Big up to everybody. I'm going to write down some of these points and save it for next week. What I could probably do is announce what I want to talk about, and some of you could give up points. Doubles heavy with milk. Yes. Yes. That's very important. Yes. Extra heavy, triple heavy, a supplegen, and then random police inspection on the highway for checking for license, and then roadworks. And then right after it, Wasa's digging up the whole road to fix a pipe that's on a separate highway. Yes. Haha. Suffering. And ooh, TC, ooh, time out for that one. Ooh. Yes, think about what you've done. Oh my goodness, I value my sanctity. Oh, that'll be pain. I can't do that too much. I cannot be smirch the good man like that. Thank you, Osprey. Big up you. Big up my fellow animal friend. Yeah. So yeah, I'll write down some of these points and figure out what to talk about next week. Thank you all and good night. Ow!
The show then is the Trini Werewolf.
Tell them all the stink and dirty, stink and dirty.
Oh my god.
Goodbye.